Do all minimum wage earners gain from an increase in the minimum wage? Well, let's take a look. So let's say, for example, that the current minimum wage is $15 and we were to increase that minimum wage to $20 or $25. Would all minimum wage workers gain? Well, there's a few things to consider in this, and part of this could be either applied to macroeconomics or microeconomics as well. So I'll do a combination of what I typically explain in both my classes. So let's just abstract from one of the things here, which is that an increase in minimum wage can lead to inflation, which can lead to other people being hurt because the products that they typically buy that are produced by these minimum workers or where these minimum workers work, and now the price, it has to be greater because these businesses that have to pay these higher wages are passing them on. That is a possible impact. But let's just look at it from the perspective of the workers. So when minimum wages go up, in microeconomics, we would say that this is a price floor. The price of wages has gone up. You cannot legally pay someone less than that. And when that happens, the reason why the government would institute this is to help out these workers. And when you're trying to help out these workers, you're hoping that they're going to gain more from the situation. So that is the ultimate goal of increasing minimum wage. But in microeconomics, what I typically say in those price ceiling, price floor examples is that there's a gaining category that this is supposed to help, a losing category, and then there is, out of the gaining category, some people that lose. So here the gaining category are the workers that keep their job and earn a higher wage. The losers are the businesses that have to now pay a greater wage for these same workers to do the same job as before. And the people of the gaining category that lose are the workers that used to have work at $15 an hour. And now that the minimum wage has gone up, they no longer can find work. What we have to understand in this process is that as this wage goes up, some of these jobs might get replaced. They might get replaced by a machine. They might get replaced in other ways. But typically we would expect that if you're forcing businesses to pay more for these same workers, they'll try to hire less. They'll try to find an alternative. And that alternative may not have made financial sense at that lower wage, but since you're forcing the higher wage, it's typically going to lead to a greater labor surplus. We can say that there's, at that higher wage, there's a lot of people that want to work at that higher wage, but there's even less demand for workers than before. So it's going to lead to more unemployment. So it's something that needs to be taken into account, because it's fine to say these people should earn a wage that brings them above the poverty line, that they're going to survive, that they're not living paycheck to paycheck and struggling to pay rent and to pay for their food. That's a nice thing to wish upon these workers. But the problem is if the minimum wage goes up too much, there is the potential issue that some of these workers will no longer find the job. And that's an issue that needs to be considered. At the end of the day, I'm not saying not to increase minimum wage. I'm just saying that if minimum wage is to be increased, there needs to be an analysis done and a plan of action done for these workers who may now lose their jobs because these employers no longer want to hire them at that higher wage. So just something to keep in mind if you're pushing for higher wages, that to have that plan, because otherwise you're going to help some workers that used to earn minimum wage and now earn a higher wage and they're happy, but you're going to hurt other workers who used to work but no longer can. Hope you found this one interesting. Catch you in the next one. If you found this video interesting, please consider subscribing or joining my class where I guide you to apply and expand on the information found in these videos to real-life examples. Have a good day.